Hello everybody and welcome to today's Art Lift. So today I thought let's have a play. Lots of you have been asking me about landscape and I just thought we'd have something which was just a bit of fun, but also you know how I have a tendency to kind of do more making type things and introducing other ways of creating something. So today, this isn't finished, by the way. This is kind of like the almost finished bit. There's a bit more to do on this, but I've broken it down into stages. But just to kind of give you a little bit of an idea about what I have planned here is we're actually going to create this area here by using a little template like that. And I'm going to show you how to do that. And I created this area here by using another template and then using different bits to create what's been happening here. I'm just going to lay one over the other so that you can see how this works, but I'm going to show you in real time. And this was the mountaintop. So this because this has kind of got lots of elements to it, and it's fun. It's going to be over 2 weeks. So this is going to be a video that will take you in your normal 2-hour session. I'd say this will probably take you 4 hours. May take you quicker, may take you. But the thing that is nice about this is that once you've made these templates, you can try it with different colors and experiment, and you might even try completely different things that I haven't suggested here. So I'm going to put them to the side and I'm going to start from the beginning and work my way through. So number one, because I wanted something which was quite kind of sunset, but I didn't want to have the kind of sun and all of the shadows coming on here. I just wanted something that was quite simplistic. So my biggest things here are black and white. I'll be using a lot of them, and then 3 colors. It's always good using 3. And all of these kind of work together. The orange is the contrast, but these are on kind of similar tones. So this one is going to be the thing that gives it a little bit of sparkle, but we'll use that later. So the first thing I want to show you is how we get this kind of purpley background. So ho, ho, ho. Here's one I prepared earlier. I know, I'm sorry, got all the puns. Right, now I'm going to just put this underneath here to just keep it steady for the moment. So on here you will see that I've made some marks on the tape. Now I want this to be kind of mirrored almost in what's happening in the sea as to what's happening on the ground. So for instance on here, you'll see, oh, there they are, the marks are on that side. So on here you'll see, like, that's the midline there, which is midway between there and there. And then midway between there and there, we've got another strong line there, etc. there. And then you'll see that the purpley bits are going across either side there. So I'm going to just show you how I achieved that. Now, as with all of the things that we do, what my plan always is that this is your inspiration. This is a starting point for you. So if you think, oh yeah, that's all right, but you know what, that's made me think I want to try something like this, but that's not like that. So it's up to you. It's completely your time to do your thing. Now, generally, I have 2 waters. I have a dirty water that I can just get up most of the dirt of the paint off, and then I've got a clean water just to rinse it. So generally what I do is I'll kind of rinse it off in the dirty one first of all, clean that off as best I can. I also have a tissue. You can use a cloth. At home I would have just a cloth beside the sink, and that way I'm not wasting things, or if I do use them, then they go into the fire and used later. Okay, so I'm first of all going to just take some of that clean water and I'm going to create just more of a kind of puddle. in here, and I'm going to just bring a little bit of that purple in there, and I'm going to make it into here, and I'm going to add in even more water because I will need a fair bit on this page. I'd say I've got it everywhere except where I want it. I need a bit more than that, so I'd say probably about a tablespoon of water, something like that would be excellent. So I just have a very, very watery thing here, and I'm just going to fill the page just because I want a wetness all the way over there, so it'll carry what I'm going to do next. Don't know what the weather's like with you, but it's quite frankly unpleasant here. There's rain, there's wind, and there's a lot of grey out there. So, okay, you can see on there, I've just got a lot of water, and it's important that it's wet because what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of this stronger purple and I'm going to tilt it. I'm going to take that out of the way, and I'm going to just tilt it. Hopefully you can see. Just keep making sure that I'm in the right place. That'll do. Okay, so I'm just going to take some of the purple, and I'm going to do the purple just coming straight. Isn't that beautiful? I knew you'd like this one. It's just a bit of magic the way it comes through. Now, what's important is that you keep it directly straight up like that, because I see, isn't that just stunning? It is so beautiful to watch. And if I were you, I'm kind of rushing through it, but I really, really would love you just to just slow it down and enjoy the flow of what happens there, because it is just fantastic. Now, I do have my thing here, just so that I can keep a little bit of that going there. Now, what I'm going to do now is I'm going for a little bit stronger on this purple, so that I can kind of deepen the flow of what's going on there. So I'm going to have it a little bit stronger on one side than on the other. Just an important thing is not to let this dry. That's really important. So just allowing that, and you'll just find it'll build and it'll flow and allow it to do its job. Now, if any of you are using watercolors, you'll find that it will work much more quickly than this, because there's a kind of a body in this paint, and the body creates more viscosity, so it doesn't flow in the same way. So I'm just going to allow that to be upright. You can see how it's flowing. If I really want to, I can loosen it up a bit if I feel I really wanted a bit more flow, and you can see that that is just a bit more water in there, and that's just going to cause more of a straighter line. So what my aim is I've got kind of some of this purple flow right there, and also I'm just going to loosen that up a little bit more just to get, because I do want to have more of a kind of line on there. And I'll put a bit more of that stronger purple just on top and let it flow down. So there's some purple on there, and I've got some black here. So I'm going to take most of the purple off there using my dirty brush, my water, dipping into the dirty water there, and I'm going to add into here, can't see that, can you? It's my usual trick. So into this kind of watery stuff here, I'm just going to add a little bit of this dark, and I've created a really nice moody grey. So I'm going to do that in those in-between marks, just show you. So where I had those main marks, I have in between marks, and I'm going to just allow that to flow down there. And you got to watch it because it will dry. So don't hang about for this bit. Don't start it and then go and have a cup of tea. I know what you like. That's it. You can see you're getting some good lines on there. So allowing that to, if you want to, you can make them just a bit more. You can kind of play with it on there. So that's one of the lower ones. I'm going to just, it's just to show you the different things. Now say I wanted that just a bit stronger. Well, I'm just going to take a bit of the water. Hang on, you can't see that, can you? I'm just taking a bit of the water into there so that I can get a stronger black. And I'm going to just allow that to go along those lines. And you'll see that it's creating a much stronger. And I am also going to do one just in that middle one, just to soften off so that it doesn't look too doesn't look too, oh, what's the word? I know you're all screaming at me, aren't you? Symmetrical. Thank you. Caught all the vibes there. Symmetrical. Okay, so just going to do that. Going to take a bit of this, little bit of water, because I want to just take that down that middle one. Just to have something a little bit different in that middle one. Okay, so I'm just going to flatten this off so that you can see it in a moment. So you can see that you've got quite a nice thing like that. Now, if you want to, you can always do something on the other side, or you can always hold it up like that. Now, I'm trying to hold this here so you can see this bit here. Look at that. Isn't that just delicious? Just delicious. So, oops, sorry, I'm always hitting that thing. So it's to, you know, play until you get what you want. And then when you have what you want, put it flat and it will stay like that. So that's entirely up to you. Now, say you get a big run somewhere and you're like, oh, I really liked it until that run. Then you take your tissue and you can just dab it away if there's anything on there. If you're happy with it, leave it. Okay, that's step number 1. So just to recap, you've taped down your piece of watercolour paper. That's important that you use the watercolour paper. Step 2 is that you wet your paper down using a light mixture of the purple, that's there. And then you can just wash that over all of it. And then if you can do it flat, you don't have to stand it up. I just personally like the way that it becomes a very natural flow on there. And I have also decided that I really like this area because there's a bit more white up here, so that's going to be the top. So at that stage, I will just take that off. I'm lit. You guys keep it on here, but I have already done these in stages so that I can show you what I'm doing while I'm doing it. And if I don't take this off the back of it, I've got something on the back of here that I need to show you. So I'm just taking this off so that I can turn it over when I'm ready. So that's stage 1. Okay, now you can go and have a cup of tea. Okay, so stage 2 is not that one. Stage 2 is this one. So what we're going to do now is we're going to build up this here. So we are taking, I've made a template. Now, this template is just the paper that you guys have, which is, you know, the drawing pad that I've given you. So what I did was I did tear, just tearing it out like that. And because these were rocks and I wanted some jagged areas, I've literally taken the scissors to a couple of bits here and a straight line there and a bit there to make it look a little bit more authentic. So I've put a little bit of tape on there, and all I'm going to do is just pop that down. You'll see it's not straight because I'm just deciding how I want it to be. I could have loads of rocks, I could have just a little bit. And because I like all of this stuff, I'm aiming for just a small bit of rock just to give a little bit of interest really. So I'm just going to tape that down there. It's okay for this to be floppy, but if it gives you more security, then put a little bit of tape either side there. Okay, next bit. Are you ready for the magic? Okay, so all I have, I love, do you know, one of the things I absolutely love is to be able to put together a video where you can have what I've given you in your pack, but also to have just stuff that you can use from at home. Now, I'm just moving this one aside because we don't need that at the moment. Now, top tip on your palettes, this is not the ones that you have the plastic ones, but you can do one of two things. You can either put them, when you're not using them and there's still paint in them, in a Tupperware container and just have a sponge or a cloth in there, and that just keeps it all humid and stops it from forming a skin and drying out. Or the other thing you can do is give it a little spray and put some cling film over it. We don't like waste. Now, this I have used because it's a, what do they call it? I don't know what they call it. Oh, it's Pyrex. Okay. I thought it was some kind of glass, which I think Pyrex is. And the reason I'm using this is because I've got a bigger, flatter surface. So the main things I want here are a bit of white and a bit of black. So I'm putting my white along there and I'm putting my black up there. Now, another top tip, right? Don't leave them like that, because you'll end up putting the wrong lid on the wrong one. So while it's still in your hand, put your lids back on. Stop them from drying out and stop them from causing you any problems with putting the wrong lids on. So I've now just taken my dirty water here and I'm going to just create a kind of whitish, lighter area. Just a kind of, just a background. I want a background colour first, but I'm just going to get some white and get some of the black. As you all know, I talk about it all the time. If I could, I would be using Payne's Grey because I much prefer that to black. It's less harsh. Okay, and now I've got my scrunched up newspaper and you'll see what this is about. You just, as though you're doing potato printing, you just want to take that on there and try not to go the same one all the time. So what you want to do is take it, but to put the paper, put the print kind of down in different places, because we're going to pick up more colour on top of there and just keep adding it on top. Now, so that's a good start. I'm going to take some more black, dark, put that in there, and I'm just going to move the paper around to another area. So I've got something else, a different kind of pattern. So straight in with that and on, and you can see already you're getting a really, really nice texture onto the paper. And going darker again, so that's kind of almost completely black, and going on there. And now I'm going to go the complete opposite. I'm just going to use this pen, this one, just because it is clean, and I'm going to use that one again very, very soon. So just going to use another little bit. You can see I'm going to have to wash my hands soon, and I'm going to just take up some of the white and work that in different places. Because I like the dark, but you need contrast. So let's take that off. Ba-dum! Bit of magic. Okay, so that's the bottom bit. And it could be anything that you like, so it's up to you. So now I'm thinking about the kind of horizon line and going above that. So I have here pieces that, again, I have cut out. So I have the mountain top. We'll look at that in a minute. And I've got these pieces that I have kind of as 3, 2 and 1. So I'm just going to take it. That'll be the top one. That'll be the next one. That'll be the next one. And this is the mountain bottom. So this is the horizon line. So that midline that we did, that's what I want. So we're going, hang on, I'll just make sure I get the right one so that I'm, yeah, that one there. So that would be our horizon line. And that's the mountain bottom. And I have a mountain top. And again, just torn out of the paper that we have. Now, at this point, you need to decide whether you're going to have a big mountain or a small mountain. I'm going to go here for quite a small one. So this is going to be the top, because then I've got all that up in the sky. So that's going to be the whole area that we have covered here. Just making sure that's nice and flat. And again, if you feel uncomfortable about it, you can always tape that down as well if it gives you a bit more security. Right, I'm just going to move this here. So I want the darkest bit to be at the bottom, and I'm just going to take a little bit of water in there just to loosen that up. And I have my big paintbrush here. Now I don't want it too wet, because I don't want this to be trying to dry for forever. So what I'm going to do is just going to be quite kind of splodgy. Just going to make sure that I get some all the way across on this bottom area. If you really want to, you can do that so that you get that line and then kind of go like that. It's up to you. And I'm going to bring this all the way up. And although you kind of go, really, you want to have all that big kind of darkness on there? Well, you know me, there's always something different coming, isn't there? So we are still filming. That's good. I had to delete loads of stuff off my phone because that was the reason that it wouldn't record in one go for the previous ones. So a lot of grey on there. That's fine. Now, what I really need to do is to wait for that to dry. And that's pain. So I am going to rush this, but I really, really, really need you to let yours dry in between, because as I'm going to show you this, mine is going to end up being a bit more smudgy than I would like. But if I showed you, where's the other one? There's that one. Where's the other one? Where's the other one? Oh, where is it? Oh, for goodness sake, what am I like? Oh, I'm honest. It's not here. Oh, Lordy, I wish somebody would give me a new head. Okay, so I just explained to you. So on these mountains, which is what you're doing, this is the dark that I've just put on all of there, and we're going to add our a kind of a silhouette, or to try and help it to give you a nice crisp line on there. But I'm just showing you this because there is no smudging on here, and the reason for that is because I've let it dry in between. So it's just important to say that. So next thing, but as I just said, I'm going to go through this more quickly because otherwise you'll be putting this on for when you want to go sleep. Right, so I've just numbered these 1, 2, 3 and 4 as it's going to just help me to figure where I want to put things. So I am wanting to keep this nice bottom line here. So this is going to be my first line on the horizon here. So I'm going to just, wait till I just think, am I doing this right? No, I'm not doing this right at all. I'm doing it, this should be the other way around, sorry. Okay, so the first thing I want to do is to get this area here. So a little area of there covered. And now going to take the white and lighten what I have here. So you see, I got to keep the brain switched on, otherwise I end up doing silly things. So just mixing some more white. So that was the original one I had. So I'm going for more of a grey here. Just taking a bit of that colour and coming on top of that. Like that. Nice and loose. I'm quite happy to have quite a bit of texture on there. You know, you're looking into something in the distance. And what you will notice is that when we take this off, that there is this kind of line on the top of here. But we're going to do that. We're going to take this one next. Take that one up there. That'll do. And I'm going to add in a bit more white. I think you're going to end up using quite a bit of your white on this one, so I think hope we don't run out. Okay, so a bit more white, and as you'll see, I'm just adding it in on top of that so that it's even whiter. And the thing is, you might kind of think, oh, but the whole thing's going white, but actually it's really, really grey, and we're just building up those grey levels on there. But as I said, it's important that you guys let them dry in between, but I'm going to take them off as soon as I can now here. So that they don't stick. Don't want them sticking. Okay, and then the last one, which is this one here, which is going across. I'm going to give that a smaller area, and that's going to be much lighter again. So this time I'm going to actually wash out the brush in the dirty water. Clean it in the clean water, because this bit we want to have as light as possible, because even though we're using white directly, we're also going to be using the grey that's underneath. So you'll see it won't end up being white. But the reason as well that the lighter, they're getting lighter as they go up is, now I wonder, can anybody guess? Why is it going lighter? Yes, that's right, because they're far away. And as they're further away, they're getting lighter because they're in the distance and you've got a lot of crispness taken off of them just because of where they are. Okay, so let's just take all of those off and we'll be able to see what we have underneath. So you see mine are more splodgy. Actually, I think they're probably nicer. So anyway, you can see how they work when they're splodgy. Yeah, see those ones a bit more splodgy. I'll take them up a bit closer. No, that's not working. So these ones are just a lot more, a lot softer. Whereas that one, actually I think I prefer them. I think they work much better. They've got much looser feel to them. So anyway, you can do whatever you like. But that's how I did the mountains and how I did that. The mountains and then the rocks at the bottom. So, we're on 27 minutes now. It's time for you to go and have another cup of tea. Right, while you're doing a cup of tea, I'm going to take this one off and I'm going to do the back of this. And I'm going to show you what I do with the trees. Many of you have been talking about trees and doing them. So, just take that one off. And turn this one over. Okay, trees, black. Where is this one? I've got some black straight in here, and I'll be using the black in a much more solid sense here. So I've got some here. Oh, I forgot I had white on there. There we go. Let's just wipe that out. Lovely. Let's clean that. Okay. So taking some of the clean water into the black there, because I'll need to loosen it just a little bit to get a flow on there. So I want to have the tree. I'm going to have a bigger tree. Oh, sorry. A bigger tree on the left and then a smaller one on the right. And I'm actually going to show you a different brush today. It's not one that you have in your pack, but I'm just going to show you how to use it, because if you come across one, then you'll know whether you want to buy it or not. They do sell them cheaply in, what's it called? The Works, that's the one. Okay, so what I want to do, hang on, I'm just going to move over here just to make it more comfortable for me. Just going to move here. Okay, so I'm going to have a tree coming from here. I want to keep a space in the middle, because then it's up to you. You might want to put in a kayak or a canoe or some birds or whatever you want. So I'm going to just start off here. Okay, so need a little bit more water to make it move and run. And I'm making sure that as I come up higher, I'm going thinner. Okay, and I also know that around the base I need to be a lot thicker. And I'm going to widen it there as well. I'm just going to very carefully nudge the paint up to the rocks so they meet them, but definitely don't go over them. Okay, now I can take a little bit more of the darker paint and just kind of work into that a little bit, just to give it a bit more substance. Now it is quite dusky, so I'm not concerned about light and dark in the way that we have been when we've been doing our still lives. So this is more of an illustration type of thing. Okay, so we have that coming along here. And I'm going to start thinking about the branches. I'm not going to give it huge wide branches because, as I said, I want to keep it so that I've got a bit of space here. I want it to feel open even though there's trees in the foreground. So I'm just going to take one out there. Now when you do that, what you also need to do is bring in a little bit there so that you get the feeling of it kind of growing out of the tree, keeping it on its side and going heavier to where the paintbrush meets the branch and lifting away, like literally lifting off as you're drawing it away. I'll show you now. See? And a little bit on here. And it doesn't matter if it breaks like that, that's absolutely fine. You want it to be quite natural. So again, I'm going to take that one up there. And if you do what I've done there, where it's thicker outside than inside, where it's thicker there than it is there, then you want to come back. See? Just makes it more natural. Okay, I'm going to just take a little one off there. Okay, I'm going to stop chatting and just wallop some of these in. Okay, so that's enough. You might want to have some bits that kind of come off and that kind of were more of a stubby type of thing, you know, like it's had a thing on it there and then it's cut off and then you've got another little bit going there, or, you know, it's up to you what you want. So leave that. And the other tree I want to do is something that's kind of smaller and straighter, and this is the one that I'm going to show you the other brush on. So I'm just going to go straight up. Oops, that wasn't very straight. Okay, let's just start from here. Whoa. Hey, that's really rubbish. It's not very straight at all. But I do need to have it a little bit thicker, so that lets me get away with a little bit. That's fine. It's because I'm standing up. I'm not kind of steady. So what you can do if you're finding that you're not steady, here's a few tips. One is, I'll just hold this, is you can use something like this, a stick or anything, and then you can lean your hand on it and you can see that I would have got a much straighter line. The other thing that you can do is put your hand down and lean on it like that. So you use something as a support. Anyway, let's just get this in here before it gets dry. And we're just wanting this to be not so much a silhouette, but just have that growing up into there. Okay, so for this one I'm just going to give it little stubby things, and I'm going to add into it afterwards as well. So just little stubby lines, and I'm going to alternate them coming out at the other side. Okay, and if anything looks uneven, then you just come back to it, because you kind of go, oh, that's very short. Give it a little bit longer. Okay, so that's fine. That's it for the moment. So coming back, I'll show you how to do the colour. Oops, sorry, kicked the thing again. 35 minutes. Yeah, you might need to lie down now, a cup of tea, your lunch, and then come back, or do it another day, or whatever, it's up to you. So I'm going to use this brush for around here, and I'm going to use red on here. Let's see, can you see that? Yes, you can. Let's just wipe that clean there. And I've got water in that one, so I'll just wipe that one. Just take that out. So if I wasn't doing this, I would literally go and wash my hands, because they are dirty. So I'm going to have a bit of red in there, and I'm going to have some white. Not white, I'm going to have some, I'm going to need more red than that. There we go. Just remember just to use a small amount at a time. And that one needs to be opened. So a bit of orange there. Now I'm not going to water these down, because I'm wanting to have some kind of pure colour. So I've got my dirty water there, just washed out my little brush. Got my nice clean brush here. And I'm just going to start thinking about the kind of blossom that's going on here. So this is dry. The one I just did, oops, is here and is wet. And this is the other one that I did earlier, so that I can show you in sequence. So what I would do with this is just to allow, I would use it quite, not that thick. I would use it thicker, like that. Just on its side. I mean, it's up to you. If you do it like that, oops, sorry, I'm holding on to the chair where the thing is connected. But like that is quite nice, because it just gives you the feel of kind of what's happening over here. Now, depending on how you want to play this, you can also add in other colours. So, for instance, say you wanted this one to be more of a kind of light with kind of pinky bits in it, then what I would do is I would take a little bit of the white, just a little blob, and that will give me, oops, sorry, that will give me some other tones in there. Just be careful not to overwhelm it. But it just gives you the feeling of the light through there, and it looks way more natural. Like that. Okay, so that's that. Okie dokie. And then the last one, I've got my orange there. Now, where's my fancy schmancy? Where's my fancy schmancy paintbrush? Here it is. This is called a fan brush. Some of you will see that I've used that. I use it a lot. It's one of my, actually, one of my favourites, both for ceramics, for decorating, and also for this. But I'd say, like, if you were to ask any painter what this was good for, they'd say trees. So I'm going to just wet it, first of all, just so that I get a bit of movement. And I'm just going to dab it into there. And I'm going to start off with orange, but I am going to use red as well. Just going to maneuver those bits open because it's a little bit clumpy. And I'm going to make sure that this goes into more of a point. So I'm just going to bring that up like that. Okay.